This is the 3D Viewmaster Showtime, the life and times of Grizzly Adams, an NBC television series. Folks around here call me Mad Jack, and so does my friend Grizzly Adams. Him and me, we live in a wonderful world of mountains and streams. As big and open as these mountains are, I never saw a man nor critter lonely, least not for long. 'Cause up here everybody's got somebody to belong to eat with, to play with, to work with, or just to be with. Me, for instance, I got my bureau number 7. Grizzly Adams, he's got Ben the bear. Even the skunks, Daniel and Mary Lou, they got each other. Start with reel 1. Picture 1. Well, one day Grizzly, Ben and their young friend Robbie Codman was playing in the stream. That Grizzly sure beats all. He kin read the rocks like a book. Why, the day he picked up some river stones and he knowed they was from the mountains upstream. The thunderstorm must have brought 'em down. Sure enough, about the time a landslide started on the hill above and big rocks come tumbling down. Grizzly got Robbie and Ben oughta there just in time, or they might have been killed. They was mighty lucky. Picture 2. That same day, me and my own special friend, number 7, was resting a spell and I was practicing on my bugle. I wasn't too good at it, but I figured a little more practice and I'd be tootling like a regular army bugler. Number 7 would be the proudest burrow in the mountains. Picture 3. Then all that peace and quiet was plumb gone when I catch sight of Maurice the monster, the meanest, orneriest critter that ever come stomping out of the Saskatoons looking for trouble. I figured I'd better hightail it over to Grizzly Adams to see if he could talk to Maurice and calm him down for me. Picture 4. Down there, Daniel and Mary Lou was playing hide and seek. Daniel just loves the game. He won't stop for nothing until he gets going. Robbie, he decided to go get some wild berries for his pa. But darned if that Daniel didn't hide in one of Robbie's buckets when he started off. Soon them thunderbolts started rumbling and Ben, he whooped to Grizzly. He didn't like Robbie's being gone in that weather. That bear's worse than a mother hen. Picture 5. Grizzly and me figured we might trail them too. Robbie, he's a smart fella in the woods, but that there Daniel, he's another story. Picture 6. Robbie found out that pesky critter had come along. Daniel was scared in the strange surroundings and started to run. The thunder in the mountains was getting louder and Robbie knowed he should get home. He was way off the trail by the time he finally caught the little skunk. Picture 7. Old number 7 followed Grizzly and me, but it was really Ben that got the trail of Daniel. Bears sure are good sniffers, especially when they're tracking a skunk. Switch to reel 2. Picture 1. But Robbie and Daniel had got into a real tough spot. Thunder was still building and Robbie tried to remember all the advice Grizzly gave him about being lost in the woods. The first thing he always said was, "Don't panic." That's the worst thing you can do. Sudden storms flood the creeks and bottoms first, so Robbie and Daniel headed for high country like Adams had thought Robbie. But just as they got to an overhang, rocks started falling from above and one of them blocked the trail down. They were stuck there on the cliff. Picture 2. Meanwhile, we met up with that ferocious Maurice, the monster. As soon as he seen Ben, he was scared and pulled his gun to shoot. Course, Adam stopped him from shooting and introduced himself. Turns out the stranger wasn't Maurice after all. He said, "I'm Master Sergeant Mohan of the United States Cavalry, lately retired. But you can call me Sergeant Mongo for short. I'm looking for my horse, Corporal Thunderbolt." He heard a bugle blow charge and took off so fast I couldn't catch him. Picture 3. Sergeant Mongo explained to Grizzly about why he was up in the mountains. Seems when he retired he promised Thunderbolt that they'd live on a farm. He'd give most of his life savings to a fella down at the fort to buy a farm that was supposed to be somewhere in these mountains. The spot was marked on a map he was carrying, but the land in them parts is straight up and down, and Grizzly knowed there wasn't any such farm. Mongo had been bamboozled. Picture 4. Then Ben come up all excited and whooped to Grizzly. Hawk had just spotted Robbie on the overhang, an old grizzly. Hawk was taking a risk, 'cause if a hawk's feathers get wet, he can't fly. But that's what taking care of each other means. Picture 5. So Grizzly, Mongo and me, we followed Ben, wondering how we'd rescue Robbie from the cliff. Grizzly figured Robbie'd be okay long as that storm held off. On the way we told Mongo about how Robbie and Daniel got lost. Mongo got pretty mixed up when he heard about skunks playing hide and seek. Picture 6. The trail was pretty hard going at this point, too rocky for any tracks, so Ben had to sniff the way. Robbie knowed to stay put, and soon we seen him waving from the top of a cliff. He was holding Daniel. They sure was a sight for sore eyes. And on the hillside below them stood a horse. "Thunderbolt!" hollered Sergeant Mongo. "Easy now, Corporal. Come on down. Forward. March." Picture 7. Now the big problem was getting him down, but Grizzly knowed a lot about that. He throwed a rope to Robbie and started to climb up the cliff. It was a long, steep climb and rocks and boulders was falling from the top. When Grizzly reached Robbie and Daniel, he calculated to lower them both to Mongo and me on the ground. Switch to reel 3. Picture 1. Adams made it to the top and saw how Robbie tied the rope to a tree. "You did fine, Robbie. Now let's get you into this loop and I'll let you down. You remember the way we practiced for mountain climbing." Robbie took Daniel down with him. Grizzly braced himself to let the rope down slow-like. Picture 2. Mongo and me was real glad to catch Robbie at the bottom. That Mongo was so proud to have been part of the rescue that he didn't hardly mind a skunk. He was still a mite skitterish around Daniel though. Skunks ain't nothing to play around with. Picture 3. Grizzly was still up on that cliff and he had to come down the rope himself. He clumped down a few feet and right away the rope must have loosened more rocks on the top, because a lot of big ones begun falling down all around him. Grizzly squeezed flat against the cliff wall till the slide stopped, and then made it on down to the bottom. It was time for us to get Daniel back to Mary Lou. She was so sad without him, she buried her head in a hole and wouldn't come out. Picture 4. On the way back, just when I reckoned Mongo might turn out to be my friend, he took my bugle and clean blew off my ear. He said he knew all sorts of good old bugle songs, and doggone if he didn't play them all the way home. Picture 5. Mongo stayed the night with Robbie and his folks. The next day he dropped over to see Grizzly. Thanks again, Adams. Robbie's dad set us up on that nice piece of land next to his. I'm helping him with his big chores, and he's learning me all about farming. A year or two and we'll be able to buy that farm and have us the best neighbors in the world to boot. Picture 6. As Mongo left, he said Thunderbolt had accidentally stomped my bugle flat as a pancake. Well, I was really proud of that bugle when I first got it the other day, but somehow or other, ever since Mongo blasted my ears with it, I've decided I purely hate bugles, and I was glad it was broke. Picture 7. After Mongo left, me and Grizzly had a good laugh over the whole thing. Ben, he laughed too. Adam said he hoped we all got something out of the big day of the rescue. Well, the way I figure it, if it weren't for Robbie, Daniel would have been in a bad fix, and Robbie would have been in a worse one, kept for Grizzly and Ben. Grizzly scratched his beard and said, maybe that's it, Jack, looking after. We're all kind of looking after one another, and just as long as we keep on doing it, everything's gonna be all right. Nope, I never seen a critter lonely in the mountains. We want to add new videos every day, so please subscribe to our channel.
And if you had fun, thumbs up.